How's it going, everyone? Welcome. I just got water on my shirt. Things are hectic. I was rushing to be able to make it on time. I was going to go earlier in the day, and I thought, you know what, let's go 7 o'clock. And even 7 o'clock crept up on me so quickly. So hello to everyone that is here. It has been, when was the last time I streamed? Paige and DC, welcome back. Thank you, Paige. Let me see here. Missy Me, Amanda, Darla, Miss Kelly, Marla. How's it going, everyone? I'm about to check. When was the last live stream that I had? Because it's been a minute. It's been at least a week. Let's see. Definitely hit that like button on your way in as you guys join. It'll help get this stream out there to more people. My last stream was April 1st. So, wow, crazy. It's been 9 days, but I'm glad to be here. Glad to be back. Thank you for joining. If you haven't already, hit that like button on your way in. I'm going to say hey to some people as you guys are joining as well, because it's been a while since I've seen you all in the chat. So I'm happy to be back. Angela, Tina, hello. Jennifer, Marla, Curious Cat in the house. Cement Shoes, what's up? Which reminds me, I should go ahead and thank the Tier 2 supporters. The Tier 2 supporters are amazing people that help keep this stream going and help fund and help out with my documentary that I've been working on. So thanks to the Tier 2 supporters. I will give them a shout out again at the end. Happy I'm back. Yeah, I'm happy as well, Darla. It's good to be back. We're going to be jumping into the Summer Well stuff. I would love to know what all I missed. Obviously, I'm going to go through some of the stuff that I've missed. It seems like every time I take even a slight break from this case, whether it's 3 days or a week like this in this case, all of a sudden everything happens. So maybe I should just take a complete and total hiatus from this case, and then hopefully we will have some answers on Summer's whereabouts and what happened with this case. And we'll go from, we'll be able to have some answers. So maybe I should just take a permanent break. Cheryl, hey Aaron, did you see my comments above? Yeah, it didn't. When I reloaded my page, Cheryl, it removed them. But I did see that you commented earlier on. What was your comment? I'll check for it again. Oh no. Come on. Come on. What the heck? Is it working? Oh no. Am I back? Technical difficulties. Am I back? I think I'm back. I'm going to need to re-add the camera in. Guys, this is what happens. You take a week away from YouTube, you set everything back up, and nothing works. Leave live streams for a little while. It's what happens. Aaron, are you okay? Homegirl, I'm doing just fine. I'm just trying to get all my technical issues squared away. It's been a while since I've streamed, so yeah, I'm doing all right. I said I gathered. Okay, so hold on. Well, hopefully this doesn't cut out again. Cheryl says, I said, I gathered that seems the DA Armstrong stated that he's looking for to press charges against someone soon, although there's really no change in the case. Yeah, it doesn't seem like there's a huge change, but it seems like a lot came out while I was gone. A lot of people talked. Okay, I have to reset this camera now, I think. Yeah, so let me add the camera in here. Add video capture device. Video capture device. Let me do it again. Sorry, I'm working through these technical difficulties here. Ty, yes, you did ignore my last one. Wait, hold on. Ty says, hey, glad you're back. Yeah, good to see you guys. I'm gonna try to get everything going again from a technical standpoint. I'm gonna get your comments in a second. It's good to see everyone. Linda's in the house as well. Kat, Mama Bear, Terry Lynn, Darla, Victoria's in the house as well. Good to see you all. Cindy. I'm gonna quickly change my cameras, get things set up correctly, and then we'll jump into what I've missed. So sorry about the the troubleshooting. Huh. Well, this is wonderful. Okay, so video capture device. Let's rename this to full face. Oh my gosh, Angela, thank you so much for the super chat, super sticker. Appreciate you. A little dance while we wait. Thank you so much. It's like I've never done this before. All right, here we go. We're about to get this. Video capture. There we go. My face. Wonderful. Watch Angela's super sticker while we size this up. You guys are getting a full BTS here. Okay, now I'm going to make myself a little smaller. I'm frozen on this one. Wonderful. I'll go ahead and get rid of this. Great. Remove. And then we'll add video capture, add existing, full face. There we are again. Oh, goodness. Don't mind me. Don't mind me. Just... oh my gosh, this is a nightmare. All right, here we go. Here we go. Don't mind me. To the 100 people in here that are seeing this absolute catastrophe. If you're watching the re-upload, by the way, all you wonderful people that watch the re-uploads, there will be a timestamp listed for you to go to for whenever we start the actual stream. Oh my gosh, we may just not... oh my gosh, what a nightmare. There we go, there we go. We'll get this. Patience. You know what? We're going to have patience. We're going to give ourselves... can you guys hear me? Oh, what a nightmare. Oh my gosh, what an absolute nightmare this has been. To the 20 people that have stuck around, thanks for being here. This is great. I may have to legitimately cancel the stream. Oh my gosh. You guys can hear me? Wonderful. Oh, hey, am I right there all of a sudden? Let's just pretend none of this ever happened. Okay, how about that? Start new stream. Now I can see you. There you are. Okay, there I am. Oh my gosh. Okay. Now I'm not there, but let's go ahead and remove this. Full face. Let's add full face. Oh, wonderful. It's not working. But if I go back to this, it's working. Okay. am I here? I'm gonna pull it up on my phone to see. I'm just gonna be on this view for now because I can't seem to go full screen. So hello to the wonderful people that have stuck around. Let's just jump into this case. Wow, we're 12 minutes into the stream. While we were waiting, hit the thumbs up for thank you, Linda. I don't think this video deserves thumbs up so far, but it's completely fine. I had to reset up, so I took some of this gear with me on my shoot. For those of you who don't know, I just got back from DC, and so I'm here. I'm going to not touch anything. If for some reason this stream, crashes again, I might just reschedule this for tomorrow at some point. So just for the people that are here now, keep that in mind. I may hop off. I just don't want to keep dealing with that. Or I might set it up for an hour from now or something. We'll see. But let's jump in to where we're at now. Thank you guys for being patient with me. I guess tap the like button. For the sake that we're still here, right? Cheryl, this is the news footage I saw. The lead investigator seems focusing more. Yeah, okay, so we're going to watch through this together. I'm going to not touch my software. Victoria says, don't even sweat it. I'm sweating a little bit, Victoria. I'm not going to lie. Also, I just popped on the AC, so let's go. Let's just watch this. Let's get caught up together. Thanks for being here. Chloe's mom, what's happening here? You don't want to see us? No. No, it's not that. I just don't want to drag it along. All right, here we go.
Police is speaking out. The pressure has been immense on the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office to figure out what happened to a little girl who reported missing back in June.
Ansley Daniel has been following this case closely. She has an update. Ansley?
Josh and Sarah, there was frustration, some anger, and the presence of a heavy burden when I sat down with the detective John Pruitt with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. He's led this investigation into Summer's disappearance. He told me that as difficult as this case is to work, he is nowhere near giving up.
It is a lot to shoulder, it's a lot to burden. We have a missing child that we haven't found yet.
Almost 10 months and so much heartache. And investigators aren't immune from that hurt. The question of what happened to Summer Wells still has no answer.
There haven't been very many cases like this. I have never worked a missing child case.
Real quick, pausing. Has Detective John Pruitt been in the public eye prior to this? I know that we've seen Ronnie Lawson several times speak on behalf of the case, but Detective John Pruitt, and there's just so many names involved in this, but from a law enforcement side, I haven't heard from him much, if at all, so this is interesting. Honey Wheels, or HNY Wheels, thank you so much for the super sticker. Really appreciate that. Also, I don't know if the good luck is for good luck for this stream continuing to work, but I'll take that as good luck. Hopefully it continues to work, and we can at least chat about the case for a little while. So thank you so much for the super sticker, Honey Wheels.
With all these different entities and agencies involved.
The lead investigator on the case says his days are devoted to finding her.
My day, I check tip line and voicemail when I first get here. I do phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads I've got. I follow up on anything that I didn't get to a good conclusion the day before. Then I go into my normal caseload of any new cases I've got, follow-ups on them.
They've received nearly 2,000 tips.
I will follow up on everything I can to try to bring closure for this.
Self-proclaimed online investigators and social media sleuths have turned this case into a mess of ideas. And tips have come in from everywhere across the U.S. and even overseas. That help, Pruitt says, has led to little more than time wasted.
If these people want to help so much, we always accept applications to certified individuals.
He says the investigation has led to the continued thought that if Summer is found, it will be nearby.
I believe that she would probably be somewhere close by, because we found nothing to lead us to believe that she's been abducted or trafficked out of the area.
Pruitt works alongside the TBI and FBI. Along with the ground search, Pruitt says investigators have poured through data. Almost a year into the case, and Detective Pruitt says it still remains a very active investigation.
I'm not going to let it go cold.
Okay, so let's see what she has to say.
Well, Detective Pruitt assures that what happened to Summer Wells is still being investigated daily. Tonight at 6, he walks us.
So one thing to note off this, what he says here, listen to this again.
I do phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads I've got.
Phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads that he gets.
I follow up on anything that I didn't get to a good conclusion the day before.
Follows up on anything he didn't get to a good conclusion on the day before.
Then I go into my normal caseload of any new cases I've got.
He has other cases. He is not, and I don't know how these, agencies work, right? You've got TBI that's very focused on this case, also has the entire state of Tennessee. Do we have people that are dead set on the Summer Wells case specifically? I don't know. I don't know if there's, that would be more of like a PI, right? A private investigator solely focusing on one case, I would assume. So this guy, for instance, is talking about the hundreds of leads that come in, thousands in this case over the course of the entirety of the case. And he's saying he's obviously working on other cases as well. To me, it's just like, how does anyone have enough time for this case? How could he possibly follow up on every possible lead to the fullest? I don't know. It's a little bit strange to me. Also, Victoria's saying, yeah, you can't recall seeing this guy. Hey, Diana. Hey, homegirl. Detective Pruitt has a neat mustache. He does have a neat mustache. Also, Darla, that's awesome that you got your mugs. Yeah, a lot of people sent me some messages. I know Paige got her mug as well. Thank you guys for supporting the channel in that way. Cheers to everyone out there. I'm just drinking some water out of my mug because I've had 2 coffees today, so no need for a third. But thank you guys. But yeah, I think it's a little bit odd to me. Also, hey to Alexa in the chat. Not my actual Alexa device, but hey to the mods that are here. Thank you so much, Alex, for being here. I just really can't see this guy being able to follow up to the fullest. But then again, that's just me. So let's listen to this video here.
Tonight, News Channel 11 dives deeper into the disappearance of Hawkins County 6-year-old Summer Wells. And for the first time, we're hearing from the lead investigator at the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office in charge of the case. Tonight, he tells us what the Wells family relationship with law enforcement looks like now, as Summer's father remains in jail and lawyers are involved.
In February, Sheriff Ronnie Lawson told News Channel 11 that the Wells family had lawyers and were no longer cooperating. The lead investigator for the case explained how that, as well as how her father's current stint in jail on unrelated charges, hasn't moved this case forward.
The family has attorneys involved, and that is not a direct line of communication.
That tone is quite the change from what it was last year when Summer was first reported missing.
It was pretty good. We would show up about every day, make sure that they were okay, and had a decent line of communication with them.
About a month later, in July, Child Protective Services removed her 3 older brothers from their home and appointed attorneys to the case.
They have been appointed for other instances, but it bleeds over into this investigation as well.
So they're talking about, and I think, so I see Amy's message saying, I think the DA and Pruitt know more and aren't saying. I think that that's a possibility as well. You've got Don Wells sitting in jail for several months now, right? Back in February is when he went to jail. You've got Summer, or Candace rather, doing what Candace has been doing. She's been somewhat quiet lately is what it seems. Amy, I agree with you. Pruitt probably knows more. It's interesting that they are coming out and publicly talking about it on another piece of news media, right? This is something that likely will get around to Candace at some point. And so them talking about them lawyering up is an interesting move. Maybe they're doing it in an effort to get Candace to say something or to get defensive, because it was just only a little over a month ago that Grandma Grandis was interviewed by WJHL, and we know that Candace only wrote down on the notepad a statement. She didn't actually talk, and that was shortly after Ronnie Lawson had talked about them lawyering up. So they were given a court-appointed lawyer. They were appointed a lawyer, it sounds like, for their child, CPS, case with the boys. And then I think with the Don Wells, potentially the situation with his probation situation and DUI. And so they're saying that that's spilling over into this case, and that they're like not speaking about this case through their current lawyers. It sounds like I'm not super, I'll claim my ignorance there. I'm not super familiar with how all of that works on a super specific level, but it sounds like them bringing up the whole, Wells being lawyered up, to me feels like them trying to kind of pick at them in an effort to get them to speak. Also, I see, the grand jury. So who was just talking about the grand jury? Honeywheels. Grand jury is in town tomorrow, hopefully, for this case. So yeah, today marks 298 days since Summer Wells went missing. Tomorrow, a grand jury will be sitting in Hawkins County. For the Summer Wells case, we don't know. I hope. I don't know how often a grand jury, this kind of thing happens, especially in that area. And so it's definitely something significant at the very least to keep an eye out for, to keep an eye out on. But we'll just have to see what, comes of that. Amy says Candace is never getting the kids back. Yeah, I would imagine at this point that's not the case. Victoria says, what is the grand jury for? Legit question. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure. We'll have to see. It could be for anything. A grand jury is basically just, I think it has to do with them determining whether or not criminal charges could or should be brought in certain cases. It's different from an actual trial jury. I could maybe make another video or make a video on that. But yeah, so let's see. I believe the grand jury has to be for Summer. What other big cases in that? Yeah, exactly. Alex, I agree. It sounds like, for indictments. That's true. Good call, Amy. Thank you. Jason says, I heard she wasn't allowed the grandkids either, around the grandkids. Interesting. Okay, we'll listen to the rest of this video, and then I also want to mention that, they are pretty dead set on this idea that Summer Wells is close. The Summer is near the house, and they have no reason to believe there was a kidnapping that occurred or any sort of trafficking. And so, to me, if they're so sure on her potentially being close, why aren't they continuing to search? And I guess that I get that there's been searches done in that area already. And so if they've already utilized both manpower and funds from the state and from the city, from the county, whatever it may be, to do these big searches, they've done a couple of them now. I guess maybe they don't just have endless funds, obviously, to be able to put a team out there on Ben Hill Road, on Beach Creek Road, in that area, to see if they're so sure to comb through that area again. Because as we get further and further along in this case, I hate to say it, but if the reality in which Summer Wells is no longer with us, if that is the reality, the potential for finding Summer Wells in that area gets harder every single day. Sage says, if she's close, go get her. Yeah, I agree. I think if they're so set on them being close, they need to search. They need to dig up the yard. I mean, what happened? If you guys followed the Harmony Montgomery case, what happened so quickly that they felt the need to dig up the yard that Harmony Montgomery had last lived at, the house that she had last lived at? Why aren't they, and like I said, I don't know the kinds of processes that they've already done, or the efforts that they've made already, but it's like, go back out there again. Like, it's coming up. It's like springtime, right? The ground is thawing in Tennessee. People are able to go out and search on large scales. Cheryl says, yes, dig up the yard. Sorry. The alleged flower bed. Yeah, exactly. And yeah, Honeywheels, thank you. Yes, to see if there's enough evidence for indictments. Thank you so much. Because if you get an indictment, you go to jail. Pretty much, anyways. So yeah, that'll be interesting to see. Obviously, later this week, you can bet that I will be doing another live stream to hop back into the Summer Wells stuff, especially as I give myself more of a chance to jump back into what all I've missed. And I know I haven't missed a lot. Hey, Adrian, how's it going? I know I haven't missed a lot, but it feels like I've missed a lot. And so we'll definitely be streaming, later this week. Darla says, need to do a volunteer search. Things are going to get green and thick. Yeah, I agree. That's a good point, Darla. There's this like middle ground between winter and summer. And God forbid this isn't like wrapped up by the time a year mark rolls around. I mean, we're coming up on the year, June 15th. But if they said that they were going to be doing a volunteer search, 100%, I would buy my flight and I would go and I would put my GoPro on and I would, if they allowed that, obviously, and I'm sure that they would. And I would go volunteer, for a couple of days for sure. I would do some live streams out there. As far as going to Tennessee and actually being on the ground there, I think that is the best case scenario, to not be interfering in any way. And that's the best way I feel like I could help if I were to go there. So hands down, I would definitely go. Let's finish this video real quick. And yeah, Victoria says we're entering the growing season. Absolutely.
Summer Wells' father, Don, was arrested late last year for driving under the influence and violating probation. Going off of that, obviously we know that Don Wells is incarcerated here. Does that play a role at all in this investigation?
No, ma'am.
On February 7th, a judge ordered him to serve the remainder of his 11 months and 29-day sentence in the Hawkins County Jail.
With Mr. Wells, he knows when he first came into the institution, he knows at any time he wants to talk to let their staff know, and I will get to him as quick as I can.
But Pruitt hopes the Wells family knows, despite the other legal...
Okay, so I know that Don has several trucks, and I think they talked about a white truck that he uses when he travels further or something. I think Jose mentioned it. Whose truck is this? This is Don's truck, right?
Troubles, they can reach out anytime.
Communication between me and the family have changed, but I hope that they still understand that they can come talk to me at any time they want to.
You can find all of today's coverage from our interview with Detective Pruitt, as well as more in-depth reports on the Search for Summer section of our website.
Interesting. All right, we'll watch the one thing about the DA as well. And I know a lot of you have seen this, but I appreciate you guys hopping on here with me to kind of go through the case, catch myself up to speed. Jason, glad you're back. Yeah, I'm glad to be back as well, Jason. But yeah, let's hop in here. No, a red truck owned by the company. Interesting. But yeah, let's listen to the DA video real quick, and then we'll hop into some Reddit. Some stuff about the case on Reddit that came out recently that are kind of interesting.
Normally, we hear from a district attorney general about prosecutions, but what happens when there's nothing to prosecute?
Tonight, we continue our investigation into finding out what happened to Summer Wells. Ansley Daniels spoke with District Attorney General Dan Armstrong in his first interview about the case and what his role is almost 10 months in when no one has been charged.
On the night of June 15th, District Attorney General Dan Armstrong called in the TBI to help with the search for Summer Wells in the Beech Creek community. Now, as the 10-month mark is approaching, his role is looking ahead to the possibility of charges.
It's a case that has implications of the legal system and the law, but you couldn't classify it right now as there's no criminal charges been filed.
It seems weird them talking to the DA making any sort of comment without any charges towards anybody. They're talking about the possibility of charges. It's like is something about to happen with this, or are they getting the DA to talk and the lead investigator in an effort to try to like draw someone out or like spook somebody or get somebody to talk that may know one thing. I don't know. Also, Aggie, Willett, the red truck belongs to the neighbor, Andy. Yeah, I'm going to go back through and actually go through this red truck scenario in a second. Yeah, we'll see. Betty Blue says Gabby's case was 1 in a million to be solved by YouTube. Summer's case is not, in my opinion. Yeah, I don't believe that anything that I'm doing or anyone is going to solve this case at all. I think that this case is incredibly messy, and there are so many names being tossed around by both neighbors, friends of the family, and just the family in general. You have Candace literally saying in a video a couple weeks ago that she was suspicious of everyone. Listen to this real quick.
You know, as far as you're concerned, you have absolutely nothing to hide.
I have nothing to hide at all.
And you don't know if Don would have anything to hide on his phone.
I don't know because I don't get into his phone.
All right. Now, are you 150% convinced that Don had absolutely nothing to do with
Man, I'm not 150% of chance of anything doing with this. I don't know. I can't tell you.
Okay.
Because I don't know.
Do you have any suspicion ever?
I have a lot of suspicion.
Okay. Anything you want to elaborate on?
Let me sit back and say, I have a problem with Allie.
Problem with Allie, Hunter's mom.
Jose,
We know Jose.
Jody Sue.
Jody Sue, neighbor Jody Sue.
Andy.
Andy.
Donnie. I mean, I
Donnie.
the whole.
Donnie. Oh my gosh. So she's got a problem with everyone, and I know some people don't like the guy I just showed there, the Glarer. But it's worth looking at that video, obviously, quickly. And to go back to my point about this case not being solved, Betty Blue saying by YouTube, I agree. I don't think it's going to be solved by YouTube, but just look how messy this is. At the very least, we can talk about it on YouTube. We can be like, oh my goodness, how could this happen, right? And so hopefully at the end, we'll have some hindsight. We'll be able to use hindsight to just be to see what happened, to look back in a different light. Anyways, I hope he gets charged and goes to prison for the rest of his life. Thanks, I didn't. Okay. Yeah, I hope someone gets charged for sure. The truck Don drives sometimes is a red one owned by the work company per Jose and voices behind the wall. Oh, that's right. Thank you. Ty says, I don't know if it was new or just, quote, new to another streamer, but Don did an interview with Chris and said something about, at first, I thought maybe something had happened, like she was accidentally run over. Oh, my goodness. I did not hear that. I'll have to look into that. Also, thank you guys for being here, sticking with me through the technical difficulties at the beginning of the stream. The interview room is streaming right now. There's a couple different channels streaming, and so I appreciate you guys being here. I know he's talking, Chris from the interview room is talking about a couple other things as well as a couple Summer Wells things, so there may be a few people over there, which I don't blame them because Chris has tons of valuable insights. But to the 178 people that are here right now, appreciate it. Thanks to the 100 people that have liked the stream. Definitely hit that like button if you haven't already. And we're going to keep going, keep chatting. And thanks for joining me.
Summer's older brothers were put into CPS custody last July, but no charges have been filed over their removal. However, their father, Don Wells, is serving time in the Hawkins County Jail over DUI and violation of probation charges.
This is a very complicated issue that has been made more complicated by the players in this drama.
No one has been arrested or charged in relation to the little girl's disappearance, but that doesn't mean it couldn't happen at some point.
We make ourselves available to both the Sheriff's Office and the TBI to advise them as to the consequences of the next step that they're proposing to take and how we can do it to where if there is eventually a prosecution, it'll be what they gather will be something that would be that we could introduce in a court. Make sure we cover all those bases. And
if an arrest ever does take place, that's when Armstrong will look at what charges can be filed.
If it ever got to the point where we were ready to consider charges, then of course they would talk to me about what charges and who to charge. And a case like this would generally go to a grand jury if it ever got to that point.
Something's about to happen with this case, 100%. I see your message, Cheryl. Aaron, Justice for All, was trying to read a statement but was struggling for some reason, stuttering, so I couldn't follow. But he did say that the DA was about to charge, quote, someone. Yeah, it just seems like something's about to give. And I don't know. I may be wrong, and I feel like I was talking about that at the beginning of the year when January rolled around. I was like, this case is going to, something's got to give soon. And then when Dawn went to jail, I was like, this is it. Like Summer, or Candace is going to speak, like whatever the case may be. I was like, it's absolutely going to be soon. And it's still, I think, could happen very soon, but we'll just have to see. I think it's interesting, though. Think about like how many people, Jody Sue, just all the people that have spoken, Jose on all these different forums, online, everywhere. If and when this goes to court, there's going to be so many issues with like going through all of this information. You wonder how it will help or hinder the case in the event that it goes to court someday, which it will, I would assume. Homegirl, Team Aaron, though. Team Homegirl. Thank you. Let's pray tomorrow. We will know. Yeah, I'm hoping that there's going to be big news with the grand jury situation tomorrow. For sure tomorrow. And if so, I'll hop on and we'll talk about it. I can't even imagine if this case went to trial and the live streams that we would be able to have here, having followed this case from really kind of the beginning. Even though I didn't hop on right away, we've been following this case very thoroughly, and to be able to follow this through a court, through the actual trial, if this were to go to trial, it would just be, I hope for that. Cindy, yes, I hope that happens. There's got to be justice for Summer for sure. Something that I thought was interesting. Let me bounce between these. Okay, let me see if I can get my camera to work here. Bear with me. Okay, add video capture device. Okay. Let's do it. Add. Okay, cool. It's not working. Wonderful. So I guess I'm just going to be going back to the small camera. I was trying to go full screen again with you guys, but I can't seem to do that. I'm going to have to get all that figured out. My train of thought, it's gone. I'm going to go to the Reddit page. Why is the lead investigator and the DA speaking now? Says this person on Reddit. We're going to go through a couple of the comments. This person says, good question, community pressure. That's kind of what I was talking about earlier. I think that there's possibly some pressure that they are about to make an arrest, and that this is their final push to potentially get someone else in addition to who they might have with charges coming against someone. This could be a community pressure situation, a pressure within the group that they think they're trying to flush out to try to put that last bit of pressure on. It says, John Pruitt, the investigative lead, sounded exhausted, but had the most to say. The most interesting disclosure was that law enforcement has examined a mountain of data, which included GPS, cell phone, telephone data, video, network, all that stuff. And it seems to confirm what people associated with the case that have told law enforcement in interviews, where they were, what they were doing, who they talked to. So I think they're talking about Candace and Dawn, right? The people that are associated with the case. So maybe they were exactly where they were when they said they were, right? Maybe Dawn was at work, even though there's a lot of confusion around the whole phone call to Candace while she was in line at Walgreens waiting for the prescription. Maybe they did line up a lot of the actual data and GPS data to confirm they were where they said they were. That doesn't mean that there wasn't anything, something strange that happened on Candace's watch or near where Candace was, because she was with Summer. So it doesn't change much. But they go on to say, and it sounds like Summer having wandered away from the home and got lost is their strongest theory. but they're frustrated they haven't found her body. He also mentions lawyers getting in the way of communication between Wells' family members and law enforcement. That's once again me thinking that he's trying to get Candace to potentially make a statement saying that she's not lawyered up or that she is willing to talk or whatever. Ironically, those lawyers were appointed by Tennessee DCS. Have they told law enforcement and or the Wells that they must be involved in any conversations between the parties? Yeah, it's hard to say what's going on in between. Betty Blue says, yeah, Cornbread Mafia, yes. Right, law enforcement is not like back in the day. Have they ever been charged with neglect or anything related to other children? You know, it's funny, Manda. I don't know that they've ever been charged in any other previous situation. They probably should have, because it sounds like Don Wells was an abuser and had abused not only his children, but Candace, right? I mean, let's not turn a blind eye to the fact that Candace is also a victim of domestic abuse. And yes, she probably is throwing some of the abuse right back at Don. I don't think that that's probably a very healthy relationship. But yeah, I think that they probably should have been charged for a number of things a long time ago. Shade, lady, unaware of. Unless it's something we are unaware of, I think they can only charge Candace with child neglect. Yeah, exactly. Unless it's something we aren't aware of. I think you're right. Let's see. Continuing on. This person says it's a case that has implications for the legal system and the law, but you couldn't classify it right now. There are no criminal charges that have been filed. Exactly. The social media show, trial by media, ramifications for fair trial, jury selection, inability to use witnesses because they have all been on YouTube running their mouths, could be anything. This is what I was just talking about. So, witnesses, Jody Sue, right? Jody Sue is someone who has said she heard vehicles entering the property, coming up the hill. She even, said that she knew the type of vehicle that was going up the hill based on the sound and based on living in that neighborhood or in that area for quite some time. She would be a key witness, but also Jody Sue has been on several YouTube channels, quote, running her mouth. And so that could pose as a problem in a trial, right? Even the jury selection, right? You've got this case that is arguably one of the biggest cases to have happened in Hawkins County, at least on this level and for this type of case in a while. I know that they've probably dealt with some pretty big situations, but this is a massive media, lots of media attention on this case. And so, yeah, I think that it's going to be a weird situation if and when they start to try to have a jury selection and go to trial. Darla says they let them kids run wild. Parents was busy drinking and doing dope. That's my opinion. Darla, I'm going to be honest with you. I agree. I think, and I don't want to come across... I'm allowed to have my own opinion. I just don't think that they were paying attention in most cases. And I'm going to get to that actually in a moment. You know what? I can hop to this right now. Let me show you this real quick, Darla. So... Not just Darla, all 193 of you here, but since Darla mentioned that, let me go ahead and show you guys. This is just up the road from the Wells household, okay? The Wells on Beach Creek is just to the west, and if we come by this house, let's just see what we see. I'm going to see if you guys notice what I'm noticing here, okay? I'm going to scan from right to left. We have a red brick house, okay? I'm going to just keep scanning. Let me know if you guys see. I'm going to wait for the comments to roll in. See if you notice anything. Okay, I'll stop the image right there just because I'm not moving anything around. I'll zoom out. Okay. I'm going to go a click ahead, 2 clicks ahead, and 3 clicks ahead. And I'm going to frame the house back up. And I'm going to ask, what do you guys see here? Do you guys see anything? Exactly. Victoria hit the nail on the head immediately. Little girl outside playing by herself. Little boy outside. Let's just look around for a parent here. We see a couple of chairs. I don't doubt that whoever owns this house, whether it was a grandparent, parent, babysitter, whatever it is. I don't doubt that they've sat out here and watched kids play outside, but this proves the point. This proves the point that people in this area, no, Shade Lady, I don't believe that this is summer by any means, not at all. I'm just saying that people in this area likely just let their kids run free. And do I think that that's a bad thing? Not necessarily. Not necessarily, because look around. Nothing, right? You got abandoned buildings. You've got neighbors that are maybe a quarter mile in between your house. Like, there's really nothing around. I don't think that my parents would have loved me being right next to this busy road. But it's a relatively rural area and people believe it's safe, just like Alex says. And for the most part, I think it is. For the most part, I think it is safe for kids to just run around on these kind of properties. But I think it is only until it's not. And it proves the point that kids just kind of run around in these areas. This kid even noticed the Google car. You can tell him looking at it. You can tell he's looking at it. He's even looking at it here as it's going by. Do I think that whatever parent or guardian is in this house is a bad parent? Not really, because this is just the way it is there. And so I by no means think that Candace and Don were helicopter parents. I don't buy it. I don't buy it at all. But just like Victoria says, if I was a predator, that would be the perfect place to go. Absolutely. And it brings me to my next point. This is how far these people are from the Wells house. Okay. So that image that I just showed you is right where my mouse is at, where that truck is at. Okay. That's exactly 3,744 feet. So under a mile. It's 5,284 feet in a mile. This is under a mile from 110 Ben Hill Road to the house that I just showed you right here where the kids are at. So it's very close. And in terms of a predator, if we zoom back out, that house right here, if we go to the map, that's about right here. Okay. This right here is a predator. This is the Tennessee SO registry. Okay. So if I click this, which I'm not going to, it comes up with a predator. Now I'm going to make myself go away very quickly. I'm going to click it on my end and I'm going to read, and apologies to the people who just joined the stream. Normally I can make myself go full screen. I'm having some technical issues with my camera. This particular, SO has assault against children. And the full details, it's an active offender. And the most recent charge looks like 2018, which is sexual exploitation of a minor. 2016, sexual exploitation of a minor, convicted. Also in 2016, another charge. And then one in 2015 as well. This is not a great person, okay? Not a great person that is living really, really close to the Wells property, really, really close to the property where those kids are at. In that Google image, sorry, I ran out of water. Betty Blue, yes, you can't see a thing. I was mentioning that my camera that shows me normally is full screen when I go to that different spot. But if you look here, this is where I just showed you guys those kids outside playing alone. This is 1.5 miles away from that registered SO. And so it's just like, you guys have to realize, everyone needs to realize, like, those offenders are everywhere. And so even if you think your kids are safe, they might not be. They just might not be. What is this? Oh, I was going through prior to the stream, just looking at some of the areas near the Wells household. So this is 110 Ben Hill right here. And I was just looking at the distance over to the church, near the church, where they kind of had things set up. And then I think I did the elevation. So the actual elevation, it's interesting. on Beach Creek Road is at 1,353 feet. I think that's maybe AGL, so above ground level. I don't know if that's sea level. And then at the top of 110 Ben Hill is 1422. So 1353 to 1422, that's like 69 feet. Which, if you look, the average telephone pole is 35 feet tall. So that's like the Wells household is like close to 2 telephone poles high. It's like a little, not a mountain by any means, but it's not a small property. It's perched up there. Coffee Buzz, hey friends, hey, good to see you. Always miss the beginning of your live, sticking with current time. Thank you so much, Cosmic Shy, for being here. Hey to Coffee Buzz. Tina, depends on where you live. If you feel your kids are safe or not. My 10 acres couldn't even be seen from the road where I live now. Not safe letting handicapped son out alone. Road is near. Yeah. It all depends on where you live. It depends on your situation. I agree with you. I was just kind of giving the example that I don't think that the people in that area are really caring too much about their kids. They kind of let them probably do a lot with the space. Cosmic, thanks for the thumbs up, super sticker. Really appreciate you being here. Thanks for joining. We're having some technical issues today, so if you are watching the replay, maybe skip to like the 10 to 15 minute mark by the time because that's when we kind of started talking. So this is, I was looking more into also Don Sherfy Jr. And there's a little bit here that I need to look more into with this guy. I think regardless of his involvement, if he is or is not in this case involved, this guy's an absolute POS. I'll just say it. I think he was caught with like either hundreds or thousands of images of child pee. I mean, this guy's disgusting. I think he was out on bond the day that Summer Wells went missing. And I believe that his girlfriend or someone he knows lives within like half a mile of Summer. And so there's like a weird connection there. And I have yet to go into Don Sherfy Jr. Fully. But this guy is definitely someone to look into. He's close enough to the family in terms of having someone he knows that lives somewhat close, and he's a sketchy dude. Team Rose, how's it going? Thanks for being here. Jason says, I believe something happened at the water hole. That's, I mean, a lot of people do. One thing I want to quickly do, I'm going to read a couple comments here. Team Rose, or I should just say Rose, I guess. I'm having technical issues today, so I can't make my face cam go full screen right now, so I'm just having to be down here in the corner. So, hey, everyone. Thanks for being here. Proximity. Exactly, Victoria. Let's read some comments, and then I'll hop into this video because I want to go through some old video talking about the red truck, because that's another thing that's just kind of been on my mind lately. Cindy, I really think Candace was jealous of Summer while family dynamic totally messed up. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people agree. I think there's some weird stuff with the whole, all the boys and then Summer being the girl, the only girl. Alex coming in with a friendly reminder. You can help the channel by tapping the like button. Yeah, thank you, Alex. Also, we hit over 200 people in here. We have 135 likes. So that would be greatly appreciated to hit that like button. Also subscribe for future videos. This is my first stream back after a 9-day break. I was out in DC for a video shoot. I shot an entire season of a show for women that are dealing with their breast cancer journey. It's definitely something that's totally different than what I do here on YouTube and some of my other personal projects, but it was a deeply fulfilling week, and the stories that we were able to capture were incredibly impactful. But I missed being in here chatting with you guys, but I had a really good time away. I didn't get to really see DC, but I'm glad to be back. So even though this stream has been kind of crazy and there's been technical issues, all these things, I'm glad to be back, and I will be, getting the streams going again this week, getting some other videos out there. So subscribe, like the videos, all that good stuff. All right. Sunshine Country Chickens with the heart. Thank you. Cheryl, we missed you. Thank you. I mean, I missed doing this, and I clearly have been not, I've taken a long enough break to where my software is like having issues. Coffee Buzz getting my first mammogram this month. Amazing. Preventative care. Great. Awesome. That's good to hear. Thank you for sharing. Okay. Let's listen to this video. Wait. Victoria says, I know it's not related, but it came to mind while we discussed predators. We missed you too, Aaron. Glad you had a good time away. Thank you. I agree. Didn't Tennessee just remove the age limits on marriage, or are they about to? Oh, I don't know. Tennessee. I think I actually heard that. Victoria. For Tennessee, the minimum age to obtain a marriage license is 18, but 17-year-olds can still be married as long as they have parental consent. It says 2 days ago, Tennessee lawmaker adds age restriction to manage bill after backlash. I'll have to look into that. It looks like it's going through the process, though. Betty Blue, I completely agree with you. The mods here on the channel are amazing. But yeah, okay, continuing on. This is about the red truck. Now, I'm going to go through this. Has the red truck, and I would love to know if you guys know more about this because it's been so long. Let me know in the chat as we're watching this. Has this been like ruled out? I feel like the red truck people kind of just stopped talking about it. But let's listen to this video. I never had seen this video on the red truck. I figured I was starting to watch it, and I was like, let's just watch this on stream.
In the development today, as officials are looking for the drop.
This is a very old video. This is from August 9th. Okay, so this is only 2 months, just under 2 months after Summer went missing.
Of a vehicle very similar to this, a 1998 to 2000 model maroon or red Toyota Tacoma. In addition, it has a full bed ladder rack with white buckets in the truck bed. They were seen near Beach Creek Road and Ben Hill Road on Monday, June the 14th or Tuesday, June the 15th. TBI stresses that the person in this is not a suspect at this time. They simply believe that they could be a witness and want to ask them questions to see if they saw or heard anything when 5-year-old Summer Wells went missing around 6 o'clock Tuesday, June the 15th.
It's really strange that I've never seen this truck, and I've never heard of it until just recently. But I wish they would come forward and explain themselves. And if you're not a suspect, at least come forward and say what you've seen.
I'm walking through that truck. Where's that truck come into this?
I have no idea. Somebody said that they seen it parked in our driveway when Summer got gone. So it's just an eyewitness account.
Now,
but that
at the bottom of the hill or the top of the hill?
In our driveway at the bottom.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Yeah, in our driveway, at the bottom. Somebody's seen it, supposedly. But that's all it is just an eyewitness account or whatever. And they've never found this truck. But it could have been the one where his dad works. They might have took that truck over there at prison as out on parole.
See, like this is from 8/4/21 from the interview room. You can tell it's Chris, even though he's not on video. What's with this truck? Did they just rule it out? What's going on with this truck? There's too many. Darla says, what about the tree trimmers automobiles? That's a good point, Darla. These people that were working on the trimming the trees on the property or working on the property to some extent, Don's just talking so specifically about this truck. And, if we go back actually to this truck here, this is the truck they're talking about. Now, I know they're giving very specifics about this truck. Honey Wheels, that's exactly what I'm talking about. If we go to this next Google image, I mean, it's not the exact same truck, but this truck that is in this image is 0.3 miles away from the Wells household. 0.3 miles. Right here is exactly where this truck is at, okay? Now, if we zoom in, you can see that this truck has, with the back seats on some of these really small trucks, like I know some of the Ford, the little S10s, I think they are. They're really small. They have the seats that come up in the side for the back seat. That's kind of what this looks like here. And it's got that back window. This specific one doesn't have that. You see, it's just the front seat. There's no little tiny back seat or little back area. But it's like, I don't know. What are the odds? It's a Toyota. This is a Toyota. Here's a Toyota as well. I mean, I'm not saying that this person is involved, but when did the truck get ruled out? I see Me Mao says even the sheriff ruled it out. Okay, let me look through here. Helen says, was reported on another channel. The person was acting as a friend to Candace. She said she was told the truck pulled out of the driveway in front of a FedEx truck, and it was. I hope Summer is living a better life. Oh, Betty Blue. I think it would be naive of us to look. I want to have hope for sure, but I think we need to accept that we could be living in the reality that Summer Wells is no longer with us, and that needs to be like taken seriously in their search efforts, in the way they handle just everything from here on out. I think it would be naive to assume that it's sunshine and rainbows for Summer Wells right now, even if she's alive. Because regardless, it's not like some fairy came down and swooped her up and took her to a house that doesn't have a dungeon basement. It's like, even if that happened, wouldn't there be some level of trauma with that? Like, the fact that you were still abducted. So it's like, even if Summer is alive, this is just, I don't know. It's just, it's a lot. It's a lot. We got everyone talking about their stories. Homegirl, wow, 36. I went through, wait, what did Homegirl say? Did I miss some stuff? Homegirl, Victoria, one of my closest girlfriends had colon cancer at 36. Oh my goodness. Thank goodness she was caught in time. That's good. That's good. Also, Alex, I went through brain cancer when I was 34. 42 now, thank God. Wow, it's incredible, Alex. It's incredible. Amazing. Amazing. You guys are all rock stars, every one of you. All right. Thank you for being so frank about all this. Eagles Prey. Yeah, I mean, I'm just trying to be realistic, and obviously I want to have hope in this case. But it's like we can't just assume that it's all good, right? I want this to turn out well, but it's every day that goes by, it's like, it seems unlikely. But I will say very quickly, this property viewer situation. So that truck, there's many red truck out there. Exactly. That would be, so this is Don Wells' property right here. That truck would be on one of these properties. So Ruby Bernard, Roy Crawford, Ruby Bernard. So yeah, it'd be some of these out here. But yeah, there's many red trucks. I just think it's interesting that one's just down the road. Let's skip to this part. Helen says, on Chris M. interview with Robin, and Robin had crossed out the truck on flyers because she thought they had debunked it, but CM says it wasn't, that it was debunked. Paige in DC says, seams are about to split in this case. I agree, Paige. Jason says it doesn't look good. Yeah. Sunflower 703, if the audio I heard is Candace, this is far deeper than we realize. She sounds like an interview done of Candace where she claims to know, and it's said exactly the same way. What? Darla says, we want Summer to be found alive, but it's not looking good. Yeah, exactly. Marcia, found your channel a few days ago, have followed you since. Well, thank you so much. Appreciate it. Marcia? Glad FBI are more active in this case. Yeah, hopefully, man, Paige, I hope something comes of it. Which, by the way, Paige, I didn't get to see any monuments in D.C. I didn't get to really do much because we were just so busy on the shoot. I stayed in Ashburn, so we were far from actual D.C. proper. We went to a town called Reston and ate at a place called Barcelona, I think. It was very good. But anyways, tangent, continuing.
I don't know. When you got them kind of connections and you hang around with druggies, you know, it works all them. But he probably, he could have, I don't know. When you got them kind of connections and you hang around with druggies, you know, and they're into all these, you know, criminal activities, you know, you can basically make a lot of stuff happen if you wanted to. Right. And stealing somebody's little girl is probably not too far-fetched.
That's an interesting point. So Don Wells just says, you know, if you're into all these things like drugs and all these bad things, you can make a lot of things happen if you want to. Stealing a little girl is not too far-fetched. Marcia, pronouncing Marsha. Oh, very cool. I'll get that right from now on. Marsha. Okay. Betty Blue says child trafficking. Maybe. Absolutely. I don't want to rule it out just because I always seem like I'm dead set on Candace and Don knowing something. They could know everything that happens with Summer and there still be a trial, you know, it could be still trafficking to some degree. They may not know truly at all. It could be purely a case of neglect from Candace's side. She could have gone inside and gotten high, gotten drunk, just fallen asleep. And Summer could have wandered off or been, you know, in a vulnerable state to where someone could have taken her. I think the idea of someone taking her on the property is way less likely or only likely if they knew how to navigate the property, because the people that have been on the property at the time that the dogs that were on the property at that time were there said that those dogs barked like crazy, unless you were someone that they knew, right? So it would have to be someone that was familiar, that the dogs were familiar enough with to where they wouldn't bark, they wouldn't go crazy. And so if it was someone that took Summer while Candace was asleep, for instance, then it would have had to have been someone that they knew, you would think. I don't know, but I agree. So Ty says, isn't Don putting his foot in his mouth? Wasn't he exactly what he just described? So could that type of person sell a child? Exactly. Don's talking about all these these criminals and their types of behavior and that they're capable of doing many bad things. And I'm like, well, Don, I'm not going to lie to you. You don't have the cleanest record, my friend, even though, you know what I mean? Like, we don't know everything he's done. It's not like he's super buttoned up himself. Lisa says, I saw a drone operator the other day saying they use that heat sensing radar and they can now even see bodies that are buried. So him guessing they didn't see anything up there as far as a body. Interesting, Lisa. But Don is kind of also going against his own word because Don, and let's just keep listening. And then I'm getting fired up here.
And then, of course, somebody said they spotted a truck parked here somewhere. We don't know. I didn't see it. That's just what somebody said. But
so wouldn't you? I mean, I guess maybe if he knew that somebody said a car was parked here, it's like, wouldn't you say who that was? Then again, I don't know if I would be releasing like specific names, but it's like, who said that? Who said there was a car there? Who? Polina says, Aaron, what about wild animals? What if she really just wandered off what I believe she was doing often and some animal got her? What are the chances for that? Still believe C and D no more. I mean, there's always a possibility. Yeah, of course. There's a lot of different wildlife out there that could, you know, I'm that could come into play. I'm very much in the idea that, or in the camp that there was an accident that happened and that either Dawn or Candace or both know more about, and they are covering up this situation for fear of what would, the repercussions of that. Or part of me is more so leaning towards this idea that Candace really doesn't maybe know what's going on because she was just asleep, and maybe Dawn knows a little bit more, and he was involved in some nefarious activities that involved Summer, and the potential, the potential like handing off of Summer to somebody else. There was rumors that Don wanted to sell one of his sons. I don't know the truth of all this, but it's messy. These people aren't just normal everyday people taking their kids to soccer practice. Like, these are like, they're not great people. Like, we can all agree on that. They're not like upstanding citizens. I think that they played the whole "we go to church" thing. They played that whole card after the fact to make sure that the public saw them as somewhat normal, somewhat, the public could see themselves in the Wells to some degree. Like, oh, well, they're God-fearing people, at least we can agree on that, or whatever it may be. I don't think anyone's talked about Candace going to church or Don going to church. Well, Don's not right now unless he's going to church in jail. I don't think that they've talked much about going to church much in the last couple months at all. I think that was all a facade. Ty says, yes, 100%. I think Candy's got high and something happened. I'm leaning towards that to some degree. Tina, I would like to know more about the 3-hour timeline too. Wait, what did Barbara say? Sorry if I'm missing your comments, by the way, guys. I do my best to see them as they go by. But speaking of the timeline thing, I know that someone was, who was just talking about Barbara's timeline. Tina was talking about Barbara, the timeline. I think one thing I want to do, especially considering we're coming up in 2 months, basically just over 2 months, on the 1 year mark of Summer going missing. I think either between now and that 2-year mark, or somewhere around the 2-year mark, if there has not been a conclusion already, I think I'm going to make a very, very comprehensive timeline of that day, because so much has happened between that day and now that I think it could be worth going back and just really going through the timeline. I even considered going out to Kingsport, Rogersville, Hawkins County to drive the entire route myself. And I'm still considering doing that sometime in either May or June. So that would be right around the 1 year. But I want to go through and actually go to each of these places and capture it, not go into people's yards or hold signs and yell through a megaphone, but just get a visual of this place for you guys so I can post videos here to just kind of better understand the timeline. Tina's talking about the timeline between 3 and 6. Oh, absolutely. That 3-hour gap is it's strange because they don't talk about it. She did not talk about that when she talked about planting flowers. Okay, continuing on. I'm still leaning towards a bad accident, says Victoria. Yep, I'm back and forth, but a lot of people are on the same boat. Shade says, long gone, animals will drag her away and spread it out. Whew. Michelle Moore, her scent stopped at the road. Someone picked her up. I'm leaning. Yeah, I think a lot of people think that as well. There's also the chance, though, Michelle, that her scent was down at the road because she played with her brothers around the property, and she possibly, that was just a scent from a previous time, right? A previous, like if her scent was down by the road here, or even down by Ben Hill Road, down the driveway, it's possible that that scent was picked up from the day before when she was down there with her brothers or whatever the case may be. The brothers are a whole nother thing, since I think the brothers are kind of the key to this entire thing. But Angela says, Alexa, there's a Dr. Phil episode, a girl who survived her dad trafficking her there all the time. She tells about being forced to beat up a little girl. It's horrific. Oh my gosh. Angela, which by the way, I have yet to go through all of the Twitter stuff. My plan is to go through some of your Twitter stuff that you've sent me and some of the other things tomorrow morning over my coffee. So I'll get to that, Angela. Thank you for sending me. Nebraska 34. I agree with you, Aaron. Something still seems super fishy with Summer's family. I really think they are dodging to cover themselves, but their stories are starting to crack. Yeah, I think so. Something's about to crack for sure. Starflower says, I believe that Dawn was home that day, which is why the girls gone wild was on the TV in the basement. So that, I mean, when Chris, I just need the desk here. Starflower, when Chris from the interview room did the walkthrough of the Wells' house, that was like a month after Summer went missing. So it has nothing, the timeline doesn't match with that. But I think that there's a potential that Dawn was at the house because he called her asking Candace, telling Candace that there was a creepy guy on the property. I don't believe that for a second, unless he was there to know about it. I think it's strange that they would plant that little seed. That makes me think that maybe he was setting something up with Summer to some sort of trafficking thing, which once again, it's all speculation. I'm not saying that Don Wells did this. I'm not even saying allegedly he did this. I'm just saying speculatively, I'm just thinking if he did do something like that, he could have told Candace, oh, there's some creepy guy at the house, just to support that theory that she was later potentially stolen. Excuse me. Let's see. They found Brian Laundrie, though. Animals got him. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think they'd still be able to get her, to find her. Nella says, hi, Chad, I'm so late. Good to see you, Nella. Bloodhounds are best for trackers. Even the ears pick up the scent. Interesting. Cosmic Shy says, agree with you. Good, maybe good, but they miss a lot. Once I found out one of Aaron's streams about the 3-hour missing time and grandma taking a nap on the painkillers, this is what I think happened. Yeah. The 3-hour time gap, and I'm glad that Tina, or whoever it was, Tina, I think, mentioned it. That's a huge one. That 3-hour gap is strange, and then the whole nap situation, doing laundry, like, no, there's something happened here. Something different happened that there's more to this for sure. Maybe Don saw his reflection, and that's why he said a creepy guy. Oh, Alex, that's a good one. Let's listen to what the rest of Don says here, and we'll keep going through your guys' chat. Thanks for being here, though. Also, thanks for bearing with me through my technical difficulties. I still can't put my full screen up here right now. I don't know what the deal is, but we'll try to fix it.
Hopefully that helps y'all. Thank you so much.
Since you bring up the red truck, how did that tip come into play? Was that you that brought that up because you saw the red truck, or did somebody else bring that into play and tell you guys there was a red truck, or how exactly did the red truck come into the picture for
when I was leaving for work that morning, there was a guy at the bottom of my driveway wanting me to pull start his four-wheeler. And then the police showed up, and he asked if I could go ahead and pull it over to his truck. So, and the policeman said, yeah, Mr. Wells just pulled over there, and so I did. And when we got there, I seen the truck on the bank of the ditch there, high centered, and I asked the officers, can I take some pictures? He said, no problem, Mr. Wells, go ahead. And he started asking him for paperwork. And when I went to the side of the truck to take a picture, there was some woman stuck her head out. There was a woman in that truck. And she looked like she ain't combed her hair for like 2 months. I don't know, but she just laid back down in there and covered up. But that kind of stuff is constant in our area. And, all kind of stuff going on. I think meth is becoming what it always has been, but it's getting worse, I guess. It's a serious problem. I guess it is everywhere, but yeah.
That's strange. Nebraska 34. Don, I hate to say it, but I don't believe you. Yeah. I'm not really buying that either. it once again, and here's the thing, actually, here's the thing. If he's saying a police officer was there, and that if there was a police officer there in the morning and there was some guy's truck high centered near their property down at the bottom of their driveway, and there's a guy on a 4-wheeler, like I said, a police officer, like that's all on record. So they would be able to like go back in some sort of a police report or body cam footage or dash cam footage to confirm whether or not there was an interaction with Don Wells and a police officer that morning. I don't see, they like, obviously law enforcement knows whether or not Don's lying about this. And if he's lying about this, he's an idiot, because he should know that they would be able to confirm or deny the fact that they had a call that they responded to, or just a traffic stop of some sort to see if this person was okay or whatever the case was. And so once again, this could be Don trying to plant this idea that there was people around the property parked down at the end of his driveway. He even mentioned meth head. Like he just said that this girl didn't look like she had combed her hair for a few days. So that doesn't necessarily mean you're on meth, Don. You know, Candace doesn't always look like she's super, you know, you and Candace both never, you don't always look like you're fully kept up either. That doesn't mean that you're on meth. So it's strange that he says this, and it's like I feel like it's to support this theory that there were people around the house that day, and then he later calls her about a creepy guy that was trying to touch the kids, and it's like I feel like he's planting these little seeds to support the theory that there was an abduction of some sort later that day. I don't really buy it. I'm not really buying it, I should say. Sunflower, Don and Candace have both changed their stories. Yeah, they're not sticking to it 100%. That's for sure. I don't know. Let's finish this off real quick, and then we'll keep going.
And that was the morning.
What's sir?
Sorry, that was that morning you left for work that happened with the 4-wheeler and that?
Yes.
So the police were there June 15th, early in the morning then as well.
Yeah, they just showed up because somebody else had called the law.
Wow. Well, you already know what I'm thinking, but we can't say it on this, so wow. Interesting.
Hyundai Elantra versus Nissan Sentra. Look what Elantra...
Jeez. All right. Well, I'm just not buying it, because here's another thing. The last thing I'll mention this time and time again as long as we talk about this case. Candace Wells gets a phone call from Don in the afternoon while they're in Walgreens waiting for the prescription, either right before or after they went swimming. That is not important for this story. Regardless, if Candace truly got a phone call from Don saying that there was a creepy guy on their property, A, how does Don know there's a creepy guy there? Do they have cameras? If they do, great. Let us know. Like, that would be a way to determine if there's a creepy guy. I don't think they had cameras at that time, so he would have had to have either B, known someone that was at the property that would relay that information to Don saying, hey, there's a creepy guy. And then Don would say to Candace, hey, there's a creepy guy on the property. So I think a lot of people think Don was probably at the house, but I think that the creepy guy story is a plant to support the idea that there was a creepy guy, and that, you know, it supports the idea of an abduction. And I said this last time, I'll say it again, time and time again, if you got a phone call, if you're a parent and you got a phone call that there was a creepy guy on your property trying to touch the kids, that's what Hunter's words were in his interview with Chris from the interview room, you would not go back to your house later that day, 3, 4, 5 hours later, and just hang out with your kids and let your kids, some of them be in the house, go plant flowers outside with one of them, let them all go back into the house alone while you go back to grandma's trailer. Like, no, you would probably call the cops, because keep in mind, the story that Candace says is that the boys were at home. playing video games, playing Minecraft, whatever they were doing, if the boys were at home and you got a call that there was a creepy guy on your property, you wouldn't go to Sonic and casually go to the groceries to pick up some milk and a few groceries and then come back home. You would immediately, A, either call the cops, or B, hightail it home and see and make sure that the boys are safe. None of that makes sense at all. That's one of the biggest things to me, is like, how could you possibly just go about your day if you truly got a phone call that was talking about creepy dudes at the house? Nebraska, Don really seems like he's just going off some script. That's why there's no emotion in his voice, his eyes, his body language, his tone of voice just doesn't add up to a concerned parent. Yeah, neither Don or Candace in all of this has really seemed all that concerned. And you keep in mind, Don's narrative, or Don's kind of mindset at the beginning of all this was that Summer is now with God, right? He immediately kind of jumped ship from, oh, she was taken, to just, she's dead, I guess. Like, he lost hope quickly. Within the first month or two, he was saying, and I know you guys know the exact quote, but it was something along the lines of, she's with the Savior now, or whatever he said, which is just like, it's strange how he just immediately was like, oh, she's gone. She's dead. She's with the Lord. Which, if that's what he needed to say to make himself feel better, and he's innocent in all this, fine, great. But all of it, none of it makes sense. And all of it is, there's just so many red flags. How come the creepy guy didn't take the boys? Exactly. It's just like, homegirl says, you're hitting it right on the head. No person would ever just continue on about their day with a creepy guy on the property near the kids. Exactly. I'm glad you guys agree with me on this. It's not that hard. I mean, it's just so strange. Wow. DP says, wow, there's so many misinformation stories going on in chat. Good grief. What are the misinformation? Let's, DP, let me know who you're talking about. We'll go through it. I just want to mention that, people have the ability to chat, to place, messages in the chat. I want to say to all the people viewing, the things we talk about here are purely speculation. We just talk about these cases, and talk about the possibilities, the different theories, the different ideas. We are by no means trying to push a certain narrative or idea of this case on anyone. And same thing goes for the chat. I am obviously not responsible for any of what people are saying in the chat, but I want the chat to be a place that people can express their opinions about the case without getting attacked for it. But obviously take everything that you see in the chat with a grain of salt as well, because none of us know the truth. At the end of the day, the truth is lying somewhere in between all of this chaos. Homegirl says, I feel safe in this chat room and only this chat. Well, thank you. I mean, I hope it's a safe space. But yeah. Anyways, have the boys been interviewed, and are they in line with what Don and Candace are saying, or is it something else? Nebraska, that's a good question. I think that they've certainly been interviewed, but that's all sealed away, because Child Protective Services, CPS, took the boys away from the home. I'm sure that they were interviewed very quickly, so it was as fresh as possible in their minds of how that day played out. And I think that the boys are going to be some of the best pieces, the best resources in piecing together this day and seeing if it lines up with Candace and Don. Let's see. Cherry, Aaron, I remember you. Glad you were back. I'll remember you on payday. Oh, thank you, Cherry. Thank you for being here. I'm glad to be back as well. I took a little time off to go do some other jobs, but I'm very glad to be back. So thank you for being here, Cherry. Excuse me. Anytime I take more than like 3 or 4 days off of streaming and then I stream, I get a real tickle in my throat quick because I'm not used to talking for 2 hours straight. So it's pretty amazing that when you do it for like a week straight and you stream maybe every other day, every 3 days, your voice gets used to it. Candace and Don are in court tomorrow, apparently. Sonia, I don't think that that's the case. There is a grand jury that is sitting in Hawkins County tomorrow, and that is happening. I don't know if it's involved, related to the Summer Wells case or not. That we will have to see. Panda B, I'm so late. It's okay, Panda. More H2O, more H2O. Water is the key to a successful future. All right, we're not gonna stay on like mega long tonight, guys. My stream is all sorts of messed up, as you can see. Normally I have my my video on the screen there. Normally I have my video on the screen there. If you're watching the replay or you saw from the beginning of the stream, you'll know that I had some issues with my video stuff, so I'll have to get my OBS, my software all squared away for the streams during the week. But I've enjoyed hopping on here with you guys and just going through some of the new info in the case, even though it's not super insane, right? It's not like a huge development. Maybe I'll take one or two calls if someone wants to call. Let me just ask very quickly. Because this is us kind of catching up, let's just go ahead. I'm going to let you guys vote. Would you call in if I open up the phone lines? Only vote yes if you will attempt to call in when I place the number. And if there's even one person, okay, 17%, 6 votes. We'll see what it ends up being. I will maybe open up the lines here. See y'all. Are you leaving, Michelle Moore? The attorneys would have to be notified. Yeah, exactly. Kira, hey, how's it going, Kira? Good to see you. Nebraska, so say the boys have been interviewed and it does contradict what Don and Candace say. Would the police be cautious to act on it and try to let them confess themselves? I think the police would definitely not say, oh, we spoke to the boys and this is what they said. I think they would hold that information very close to the vest in the event that this goes to trial and Don and or Candace or both have to talk about that day as witnesses or in defense of themselves, like whatever it was. They would use the boys' testimonies in interviews to support or go against what Don and Candace say. So yeah, they would keep a lot of that close to the vest for sure. Holly Dolly, good evening. Yeah, I think I'm going to open up the phone lines, Alex. Yeah, good question. We'll just see if one person even calls in. I'll be happy just to chat with one of you. I'm going to open up the phone lines. It's a Google Voice number. If you'd like to call in, say hey, join the stream. The number's 305-985-2690. I am pinning Alex's comment right now, so I will also comment it right here. The number to call if you would like to call. But Alex's pinned comment is up above in the chat, 305-985-2690. Feel free to call in. I'll maybe take, 2 or 3 calls, 2 calls, and then we'll wrap up the stream. Darla says it's awfully funny. Candace has been hush hush. Yeah, she's been pretty hush hush. I've been waiting. I have my notifications turned on for her YouTube channel. And waiting for her to post, and I haven't seen much. It's been pretty quiet lately. I think that says a lot. Something's about to happen. Thank you, Amelia. Good to see you in here. And yes, keep in mind what Alex just said. You're allowed to disagree with callers, but only respectful disagreement will be allowed in chat. We are a kind community. Yes, thank you for the reminder. Feel free to call in. Anyone that wants to. Let's see. Yeah. Ring microphone. Boom, boom, boom. All right, I'll keep that open for the time being. Cheryl says, Aaron, will you be covering other cases? Yeah, so what are some cases I should cover right now? I didn't get, I started to cover the Naomi Irion case. Obviously that ended tragically and very quickly. there's obviously other cases going on right now. I only want to be able to hop in when I feel like I can get caught up to speed as quick as possible. There are a couple of cases that I need to cover that are very old cases that are interesting, that I feel like I could kind of give a new twist on, that have been covered already on YouTube, but I think would be interesting to cover. Let me know. I do have down below in the description of this video a submission form. It's a Google form. One of the mods, Alicia, made it, and you're able to use that to contact me and submit an idea for a future video or stream. So, or you can tweet me. My Twitter is down in the bottom right hand part of the screen there. You can DM me any case ideas or suggestions. My DMs are open on Twitter. Alex says you should do the Long Island Killer. Ooh, I may just have to do that. Maggie says Candace has been on Ernie's Facebook Lives daily, either in chat or on panel. Interesting. Shade Lady says, I'm confused as to whether Grandma was at the water hole or not. I thought she was, but there are others say that she wasn't there. The people that are saying she wasn't there, you know, they're definitely speculating that she may not have been there, and I've gone down that road myself based on what some of the things that were said, and based on the fact that she was, you know, at the hospital for some knee or hip like situation. You really think that she was like energized enough to go walk down the potentially muddy or, you know, whatever kind of hill she had to walk down to get down to the water and stand? There was no seats down there. Like, it seems odd to me. Holly says, I don't think Grandma was there. Yeah, I don't really think she was either. But she might have been. So yeah, I think the people that are, you know, talking about that on YouTube, they don't know 100%, but they're thinking that she might not have been. Homegirl says, I really like the missing persons cases. Yeah, me too. I think, you know, we covered... Oh, we're getting a call. We'll try to cover a lot of missing persons cases.
Call from
Nebraska 034.
To accept, press 1. To send a voice...
Hey, how's it going? Thanks for calling.
Hey, what's up, Aaron?
Not much. How are you?
I'm doing all right. This is Nebraska, a.k.a. Kevin.
Oh, nice. Hey, how's it going? Oh, Kevin, nice. How's it going?
Yes, sir. Not too bad. How about yourself?
Doing all right.
But, yeah, no. I was just going to call and talk about maybe like the Susan Powell case to look into a little bit.
Oh, yeah.
She's been missing for a long time, and they keep on thinking they're getting closer and closer.
Mm-hmm.
But it keeps on bringing up, you know, no results here or there. But it's a pretty interesting case if you look into that a little bit.
Yeah, West Valley City, Utah. Yeah, I just pulled it up because you are definitely not the first person. And I've seen other people talking about this case. Some videos I actually watched recently on it. And it made me think, oh, maybe I should deep dive into that one weekend and just try to make some sort of a video or do a live stream around it and incorporate the maps and stuff. But yeah, that could be an interesting one for sure. Have you followed? So with the Summer Wells case, it sounds like obviously you've tuned in here and there on some of my live streams. When did you hear about the Summer Wells case?
I heard, honestly, it was your video that popped up in my suggested. I hadn't seen a video of yours in probably since high school, and then all of a sudden it's like, hey,
oh, nice.
Not Powell, but you know, that whole Summer Wells missing, and
yeah,
what the hell's going on?
Yeah, it's a crazy one. Yeah, I followed the Gabby Petito Brian Laundrie case this summer, and that's how I just like started kind of covering these things. I got invited on a live show, and that's kind of what sparked my YouTube channel again. And so I'm just kind of doing this here and there, and it's been interesting. That's for sure. It's crazy.
Oh yeah, man. Like I said, I mean, since I knew you in high school and stuff like that, like you were a grade above me. You made some of the more funnier videos, you know, the Dale videos and
yeah,
all things like that. And it's just like you going to the crime side of things and looking into all this stuff. It's definitely a twist, but I mean, you seem like you definitely got a handle on it, and you
Thanks.
bring a lot of evidence that a lot of people don't necessarily, look into,
Mm-hmm.
don't question. And that's, I think, what I like about the community that you've built here is, like, everybody's bringing little ideas here and there, and like, yeah, that makes sense, but maybe not that, but that can do,
Always
so.
a possibility. Yeah, I never like to rule anything out because it's just like these stories, they're just crazy. Like, there's just so many twists and turns, and obviously this one, there's just endless possibilities. So it's like, to rule something out, I think, without knowing, it's like, how could you do that? So I don't know. It's just like,
and that's why I'm curious about the boys. Like, they had to have said something, I think, or got interviewed before CPS.
Yeah.
So that way, Candace didn't, try to manipulate them into saying, "Oh, that's not what you saw," or something like that.
Yeah, I think once the boys were taken from the house, it's not like they would have been able to, like, Candace wasn't able to influence them at that point, or Don, because Don wasn't in jail at that point. So it's like they probably got sat down and had a big, bowl of ice cream put in front of them or whatever to, like, not persuade them, but it's just like, hey, let's talk about what happened that day, because that's like the most valuable thing is, like, these boys, because they would be able to tell if Don was actually there that day or not. Like, when they came back, did Candace come inside and just, like, hang out and not actually go plant flowers with Summer? Like, what happened? So I think they're, like, a huge piece for sure.
And I'm really hoping that, she's still alive too. Like, we've seen cases before where people gone missing for an X amount of time and they're still found alive. And I'm still hopeful she is. I really am.
Yeah.
But I really want the police to dig deeper into both Don and Candace. Like I said, their stories are definitely starting to crack.
For sure. Yeah. I mean, you were just saying, like, there was a girl in 2019 missing in New York, and I think they just found her she'd been, like, locked under a staircase. Clearly she was being fed something, but she was being treated obviously terribly for, like, I mean, this is just back in February of this year, I think, that she was found. So it's like, you're talking almost 3 years. And so, I mean, Summer hasn't even been missing a year. So obviously there's a possibility that it would just be awful to know, like, she probably went through a bunch of crazy stuff, but there's always that possibility that she is alive, I guess. But yeah, I don't know.
I'm really hopeful for it. I mean, like, say at the most radical idea that it was a drug dealer type trade-off. I don't see that being the, like, as a form of payment that eventually would be turned over to the police.
Yeah.
I just, there's something else. There has to be something else.
Yeah.
And it's frustrating.
Yeah, it definitely is. I mean, I just want something to happen soon. I just feel like something's about to crack. Like you said, the stories aren't lining up from the beginning, and now that Don's in jail, I just feel like something's about to give for sure. So we'll see. I'll definitely be following it. That's for sure. But
yeah, and you never know. With him in jail, he could be talking to somebody in there.
Yeah.
And, one little thing, and next thing you know.
Yeah, he for sure could be. I mean, they could, because Candace was, like, she went on a video basically saying that she has suspicions about Don. Like, someone in jail could be, part of law enforcement going to Don saying, hey, Candace is outside, free, walking around, throwing your name under the bus. Like, let's talk about what happened. And you can, like, basically save yourself. They could be giving him kind of like a plea deal of some sorts. Like, let's just start talking, and we can make sure that you're not on the hook for this to some degree, unless he's, like, totally on the hook for it. Like, you know what I mean? But if he has nothing to do with it, and Candace, it's just all Candace, like, they may be getting him to talk for sure in jail, and just not putting any of that info out there. Building a case against Candace potentially. But I don't know, man. We'll see. Only time will tell. That's for sure.
Right, and hopefully that she does get found. That's my biggest thing. Is, like, I'm confident that we will be able to find her. I hope it's sooner rather than later.
Yeah, definitely. I agree. Well, Kevin, thanks for calling, man. Good to hear from you. Hopefully you're doing well. You said you're in Topeka, right? Is that what you said a while back ago?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
I'm now in Topeka, and
cool,
I'm
cool.
doing all I can here. So
That's awesome, man. That's awesome. Well, keep it up. Thanks for tuning in, man. Appreciate it. Thanks for calling.
Yes, sir. Yep.
All right.
Later,
dude. Cool to hear from Kevin. Theater friend of mine from school. I think it was like a grade or two below me. That sounds right. I am terrible with remembering people being a grade above or below me. So yeah, I remember Kevin though. Good to hear from Kevin. Following along with the case. Appreciate him calling in. And I agree. Hopefully we find her sooner rather than later. And I liked that he brought a little bit of hope, because I know at the beginning of the stream and throughout the middle, I was just like, we have to, I didn't think it was like naive to think that Summer could be alive, but you have to be real when talking about this, for sure. And so I liked that he brought a little bit of hope in and saying that, she could be alive. Who knows? Grade below me. Thank you. Grade below.
To accept, press 1. To send a voicemail.
Hey, how's it going?
Hi, how you doing? I still haven't wavered from my thoughts of them getting rid of her, doing something with her, Aaron. I still can't wrap my head around there being an abduction. People, would be stalking the house and looking for her, and they would find her to take her. And I just don't believe that could have happened with her. It just keeps on coming back to they need to look under that house to me now.
Yeah. So sorry, I can't remember your exact theory. So you're saying like the abduction theory just doesn't hold up for you just because...
Why would it hold up? Because anybody that's been to that property is going to say that. I think people that are saying they don't understand the property.
Yeah.
And on a random road, they're going to have someone that's been... anybody that's going to take a kid is going to be looking, and stalking and planning the whole thing out.
Yeah, it would be such a risk for someone. Sorry, it would be such a risk for someone to just park on that street and assume that there could be a kid up there. It's a little mountain. It's a mountain. They would have to know.
Like if you look at anybody who does this to children, especially a stranger thing, they're researching and they're looking and they're scoping the whole situation out, and they're looking at the child, and you think she wasn't down on a main road all the time.
Right.
That was like on occasion. So I doubt it. I really think they put her someplace, and I think that, as I said before, I think the DA and the other person know a lot more than they're saying. They're doing this as like a smoking out technique to these people.
That's a good way of putting it. Yeah.
Opposite the psychology of the whole situation. I think they have a lot more than they're saying, and and that was just there's no such thing as coincidences like with the grand jury coming up, and we don't even know what everybody's speculating. It's probably a drug thing, or they're not going to be able to look up and see what kind of cases are on the internet. You can't. There's no access. We don't have any special type of access. You would have to have like a password. You'd have to work for the government, and you would have to be able to have certain things or access that the general public does not have, and we are not going to be able to find that out with these kinds of grand juries. And that's just my opinion. I really think something is going to go on. And I don't know why everybody's all speculating, and the drama and these crazy people that are on YouTube making silly skits about this case. I know people want to laugh, but I don't think it's funny.
Yeah.
That people are on there fighting and making skits about these people and this cast of characters. I think it's pathetic, to be quite honest.
Yeah, I mean it's
And that other case, and that other caller before me was stating about the child under the staircase. I don't believe she was under there all that for 3 years.
Right. Yeah, that was.
I think she was put in and out. Because of the conditions that that child was in, with the cold, wet environment. I don't think a child would be able to live like that under a staircase.
Right. Yeah.
I think that she was just put in there on occasion to hide when things like were scary, when people were about to catch them.
Yeah.
But I think that maybe there's some secret area in that basement of that house. There could be secret bunkers, secret tunnel systems, in Tennessee that are not even charted, that law enforcement may not even be aware of or know anything about. So I don't think they've covered everything, to be quite honest with you.
Yeah, and you've been on this, I remember your comments even a month ago talking about the possibility of a grand jury happening. I remember your comments saying you think that's happening. So here it is.
I think so.
I don't think it's a coincidence.
Too. It might not even be this may be a different grand jury. They might have had something else, a special one that we're not even aware of, that the public isn't made privy to. You don't know what they're doing behind the scenes. We have no idea.
Right.
So I just think that we're not in the government. We're not working for these organizations, and I don't know. I just think more people should go there and look around. And I know that the locals don't like it, but I've been hearing the locals aren't really liking it. They're putting signs up like don't trespassing. But I think it's ridiculous because don't they want this case to be solved? Don't they want this blemish off their county? They should be welcoming people being interested in taking care of this case and getting it solved and closed once and for all. So I don't know. That's just all I could say. I don't know. I'm always full of my opinions on this, but I just, it's so horrifying when you hear about things with these kids. And also, I don't know how these kids go missing. And I just, as a parent, I just never let my daughter outside out of my house, out of my sight. I don't, this is inexcusable. I know it's bad to blame parents, but I just never let my daughter play by herself outside. I don't let her go off by herself to places, even though she's 14. I'm very protective because the crime is getting worse. You can't let them out of your sight. You just don't know. There's the people again are still in masks. You're not going to be able to identify them. It's very scary. So just as an, I don't care if they're in groups anymore. You just don't know. These criminals are getting more. They're developing other methods because people are becoming more having situational awareness. Like they're going to scream help or fire when they're with their buddy or whatever. These guys are going to figure out how to get two of them, even though they're in a buddy system. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It doesn't matter. Like with the Delphi girls, I would never let my daughter walk in the woods by herself with a friend at her age. I would be 14. I would never ever let her do that ever, because you don't know who's behind a corner.
Yeah.
And my kid isn't going to be able to carry a gun to protect herself. How is she going to defend herself against something that is so evil? Even if she's with a friend or even with a male relative or a friend that's a boy that's a friend, that's her age, they're not going to be able to fight that off.
Yeah.
Especially if somebody has somebody they're working with to kidnap them or do something worse, So I just think people need to really hope that there are courses in the schools that are teaching children safety and situational awareness and really how to fight back and prevent themselves from being a victim. And I think that's the real missing link. And there need to be videos on YouTube for kids to watch about how to keep themselves safe in these types of situations and prevent themselves from getting abducted or kidnapped or harmed by these sickos. So I don't know. That's my whole soapbox for the night. So
well, appreciate you calling. Yeah.
Have a good night, Aaron.
Yeah, thank you, Amy.
Care.
Yeah, I always
Bye-bye.
appreciate hearing from you. Thanks.
Take care. Bye.
Yeah, bye. Okay, guys, I know my face is frozen. I just want to quickly also say thank you to Melanie, Deacon Kelly. I wonder if Summer caught H and Candace messing around at the swimming hole that day and they did something to her and then staged the milk jug pictures. Ooh, I don't know. Thank you for the $6.99 Canadian, though. Hard to say what happened. See, that's just another thing. The whole Hunter story, everything with Hunter, to me, it's shady. It doesn't line up exactly with Candace calling Hunter after the fact saying, don't tell anyone what, about this or about that with the beer, with the twisted tea. I'm not fully. I'm suspicious of a lot. I'm suspicious of a lot for sure. Okay, I'm here now. I'm about to. I'm clearly having video issues still. I'm going to end the calls. Thank you guys for calling, to the people who did call in. I think a few people maybe hopped over here from the interview rooms video. I'm just going to stay full screen, actually, since this is working now. I know the interview room just got done. I saw we had a peak in viewers. We went from like 290 to 360. Thank you to the people that are here. If you came over from Chris's video, thanks for being here. Hit the like button. I know that this stream was kind of all over the place. We didn't talk about anything new, obviously. Well, we talked about what I missed over the last week since I've been in DC. But we didn't really, there's not a lot going on. It looks like Sunday conversation. Yeah, I'm glad we touched base on this. I'm glad that we, were able to catch ourselves up somewhat to speed. Let's all stay on the lookout, because this week I'm likely going to be streaming on the Summer Wells case again, especially if there's something that's tied to this grand jury situation, if the public is made aware in any way of this grand jury and what it's about. So with that said, I'm going to hop off. We've been on for 2 hours. Thanks to the people coming in, both that have been here the whole time and coming in late. But let's see. I came over from American Idol. Nice, Linda. Holly Dolly, hit the like, y'all. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for being here. Yeah, thanks to, once again, it should be mentioned, the level 2 supporters. Thanks to everyone who just watches the videos, let alone the people that go above and beyond and become supporters of the channel. But thanks to the level 2 supporters. Did I say level 1? Thanks to everyone. Hit that like button on the way out. And yeah, stay on the lookout for videos this week and other live streams. All right, I'm going to hop off. See you guys later.